Hello, 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 my loves. No, Sandy, it's LokificentYT at Gmail. So you shouldn't be just Lokificentyt. Hey, Muffin. Brock, you have your old email back. Shut up. Hey, Muffin, Patty, Sandy, Croc, Wrench.
We'll
Hey,
call
everybody. Woohoo. We'll call Magic, the man that I have a date with when I go visit Florida. Hey, Creed. How are you feeling, Mayor Wrench? Hey, Sod. Are you done talking over me?
Sorry. Go ahead.
Just check. Hey, Sod. Hey, Mayor. Yeah, Sandy, it's just Lokificentyt at Gmail. And Creed's drunk. Good job, Creed. How was everybody's 4th?
Nerve-wracking?
You were told to call me. Were you not?
Yeah, I was. But I had a wife and a small dog to sit here with me, so it worked. I didn't want to take away from Jay.
You were fine.
Okay.
He wore his defective 3M earphones that made him deaf in the first place. He has his originals. So, hey, what can I say? How are all my loves today? How was everybody's 5th of July?
Better.
Yeah, so far it's been better. So what else is going on, everybody? How do I feel you? Mayor Wrench, why are you working up to the surgery? When is your surgery? Because I'm about to smack your workers' comp people down.
Ooh. Hasn't happened yet.
I know, but I'm about to smack the work comp people down because I don't like how he is being treated.
No, I'm not a fan of it either, to be honest.
Creed, stay out of the Danish embassy. Mayor Wrench, why aren't we doing it under comp? It happened at work.
Eh? Wait, what? Didn't you have
Wrench, I'll have to call you. Have my phone number, or email. I'll call you tomorrow. We can discuss. I will call you. We can discuss. I will fixie. So, it has been a long several days. Hey, Sanji. Yeah, Mayor Wrench, it's also illegal. You can be sued by your regular insurance. It's fraud. You can be sued by both for very large sums of money.
Not to mention they can kill its coverage.
There are ways around it, don't worry. This coming from the person who does comp for a living. Muffin, 3:30 in the morning.
Oof.
And they're back at it.
Are they at it again?
Yep. Third night in a row.
I really hope they don't do that here. I would not be looking forward to that.
Yeah. Nobody's looking forward to dealing with me in the next few days.
That's what I want to know, Muffin.
So, the thing is, Muffin, where I am in PA, I'm right by the Ohio West Virginia line, and fireworks used to be illegal in PA. So there is a phantom fireworks company just across the state line in both, and you can buy them like super cheap. Yeah, Mayor, I know they may have, but there are other issues at play. You and I will talk. I know all the secrets. I know the hidden playbook. I got you. You know I got you. So, yeah, it has been a day.
Well, I think the difference in this case is the company has to pay into workman's comp, as opposed to he's been paying into his regular insurance.
That's not even it. OSHA can come in and charge.
Oh, no. We don't want that.
Because what they're doing, by allowing them to do that, is fraudulently changing OSHA numbers.
Oh.
On the metrics. So there's that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they won't like that.
No. Yeah, Sanji, they were actually legal in all of PA, but so many people would just drive like the 45 minutes across the state line and bring them back. Like bring back pickup trucks full, and they didn't care. Mayor Wrench, I will call you and get you. We will discuss. There are ways around that. There are ways. You just have to know what they are. Here's the thing. Generally with work comp and OSHA and injuries, they take into account that you have not read the 900-page book.
Ooh.
I can quote it at this point. So, Sandy, it did. I just saw it. Sandy, do you want me to wait and call you in the morning? Like, what time works? You tell me what times work best for you, sweetheart. Yeah, Mayor Wrench, I They are trying to take advantage of you not knowing certain things. But I'm an asshole with an eidetic memory.
You were trained and paid to be an asshole, though. He's not.
Yeah, I have a master's degree in OSHA assholing. I'm good like that. I am the master of that game.
You have mind enough education to turn yourself into a registered nurse if you wanted to.
I actually have. I'm Eastern too. I actually have enough credits, and I mean, so I originally went to college for a bachelor's of science because I wanted to go to medical school, and I picked up a psych minor, and then I decided I wanted to do OSHA. So my formal bachelor's is in occupational health and safety, and I have a minor in psychology and a minor in, I think Croc knows this, the creepy one, virology. My capstone project was on no, mine's not an MBA. Mine is not an MBA. I have a master's of science, but my minor is in is in virology. My capstone was on hemorrhagic filoviridae, also known as Ebola, Marburg, and all of the other fun diseases that people are scared of. I have a stuffed Ebola. I have named her Lola, and Lola the Ebola has sat on my desk every career. I have a giant stuffed COVID keychain, like literally a COVID virus, which is one look hey Anubis, one that looks like the COVID virus under an electron microscope. It's on a keychain, and it's got what looks like a little syringe tag that says COVID 2021.
Wow.
Yes, Andy, a disease that goes black. Rustin isn't really a hemorrhagic filoviridae. It's technically a strain of the Marburg. If you look at the cladistics, it falls under those strains. But yes, I love me some hemorrhagic filoviridae. What?
Yeah, those suck.
Hemorrhagic filoviridae, hemorrhagic filoviridae, hemorrhagic filoviridae. That one? I can. I have a whole bunch of like giant viruses. Minnie took Lola to school with him for show and tell in kindergarten. And they were like, "What's that?" He goes, "Her name is Lola and she's an Ebola."
Oh dear.
I thought it was a good name for her.
Well, yeah, I can see why you would think that.
I thought it was funny.
I get it.
Okay, so funny story. Remember when Ebola actually made it to the U.S. like 8 years ago?
Yeah, I remember.
So we got a call from a frequent flyer. when you called 911 during that period of time, they would ask if you'd been out of the country, what are your symptoms, because then they were sending in hazmat kind of thing.
Right.
And your ambulance had to go to a decon tent outside, and you had a it was a whole thing. So I jumped this call. I wasn't the closest unit, but I was going. Because my man was like, yeah, I was out of the country. He was telling 911 the right symptoms. And I was like, oh my god, I might actually get to see Ebola in person. I was so excited. And mind you, the EMT driving the ambulance was like, do I get a choice? I'm like, no, just stay in the ambulance. You'll be fine. And he was like, okay. And Muffin Rando, come to PA. I need to replace my AC unit. Come help. So I get out and I'm not wearing anything. And like the looks I'm getting. The guy looks at me, he's like, where's your hazmat suit? I was like, fun fact, Ebola, only transmissible within 21 feet, not spread by anything other than droplet precaution. You stay there, you are more than 21 feet away from me. I am safe. And everybody just stared at me like I was extra bananas.
Yes.
And I'll never forget this. The guy's last name was, and I'm not worried about HIPAA because A, he's dead, and B, it's a common last name. It was like Mr. Valentine. Mind you, Mr. Valentine lived in Section 8 housing in a high crime neighborhood.
Oh.
And I was like, Mr. Valentine, where were you? Knowing damn well this man cannot afford to travel outside of the country. And, I know him. And he looked at me and with a completely straight face goes, I just came back from New Jersey. Sir, we don't want to claim New Jersey or California as ours either. But those are states, not countries. Mm-hmm.
Then you turned around and walked away.
And he just looked at me like, oh. Mm-hmm.
Unless he'd been to Africa, he wouldn't have. Ebola would not be a thing.
Not true.
No?
When we had that issue with Ebola years and years ago, it actually started because somebody who was asymptomatic visiting from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, DRC. They were asymptomatic while they were on the flight to Germany, like out of the Congo.
Right.
And then they gave it to somebody else on the plane.
Oh no.
And that's how it ended up in Texas.
Yeah, I was just to say, didn't it show up first in Texas? And then
Yeah.
remember a big thing about them bringing in some more folks with that actually had it also to Texas.
Right, because the problem was they weren't appropriately screening.
Ah.
And, these people, no, Mayor, the Matrix isn't the same. These people weren't testing positive until 8 to 10 days. So they were screening out negative, getting on planes, and then exposing the whole plane because Ebola, you are actually contagious before some of the signs start. So, yeah. But hey, I got to use my capstone from my master's more than I ever thought possible. I mean, I used to be on the hazmat medical response team, and it was like the biggest joke ever. Because Misha Campbell, the doctor that runs it, Misha was like, I never thought having an Ebola expert would go in our favor. Never crossed my mind.
It didn't hurt, though.
But here we are. I was all about it. I didn't care. I thought it was hysterical, personally.
I can imagine, yeah.
Oh, I was like all about Ebola. Sandy, sort of. You have to remember, I mean, like, there's Marburg Reston. There's so many strands of it. And I actually got to use my capstone with COVID because, funny story, remember when everybody was complaining that the COVID test kits had dates on them for the patents before we knew about COVID? So it must have, been a thing. Actually, not true. What it was is they ran COVID against all known antigens, and it shared enough cellular material with a version of the flu vaccine from 4 years before. So they redid the flu vaccine test, the flu test, and antigen. So the only way to originally get a false positive was if you had influenza in that strain or COVID, right? But then everyone's like, well, what about the vaccine? Well, again, we were already using that vaccine. Hey, Jerry. Hey, Caroline. Because one of the vaccines they were working on was an Ebola one. And most hemorrhagic filoviridae have a spike protein like COVID. So they were Frankensteining the COVID virus onto the Ebola vaccine. So there you go. Myth debunked by the Uber nerd. But yes, I love hemorrhagic filoviridae.
Yeah, I'm not thrilled with mRNA in terms of vaccines.
Why?
Just
Why?
because
Science me. Why? If you're gonna come out with that, you better bring the science. I am waiting.
give me a second here.
Do 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 do. What?
All right.
Your wife likes me.
I don't think there was enough science behind it. We don't know what the long term ramifications of that type of thing are.
We do.
Okay.
Keep going, but we do.
No, I'd like you to explain that.
Well, let you finish your thought, and then I'll explain.
That was my primary reason. I don't think there's been enough research or safety testing.
So, what is your current understanding? Because I don't assume anybody is dumb other than myself. What is your understanding of the mRNA vaccine?
Not as much as I think I'd like at this point. But I can't. But I haven't been able to find a whole hell of a lot of documentation in any direction on, at least in terms of valid peer review, because there was very little on it, and they started pushing it.
So, if you look at double-blind peer-reviewed studies, and I've studied hundreds of them, out of the 100, so take COVID out of this for a minute, right?
Right.
Okay, we are just going to go off of the premise of virus X to start, right?
Okay, cool. Let's do it.
So, there has not been a single double-blind peer-reviewed study where we did not know that there was the possibility of long-term side effects or that adverse effects were not seen and then all of a sudden popped up 5 years later. Because everybody keeps saying, but like, what about 10 years down the road, right? There has never been a recorded vaccine that initially passed safety testing and had no issues. And then 10 years down the road, out of the blue, it showed up. Sandy, I'm including the European data models.
Because I've seen some of those, and some of those had bad things to say about COOF. But yeah, coronavirus don't usually themselves to successful vaccines.
We are not talking about that right now. We're talking about Virus X.
Virus X could be anything.
There's not a single double-blind peer-reviewed study. Okay? That there were no initial issues in a test group or in the first 12 months that all of a sudden 5 years later, 10 years later, there was something that showed up attributable. Okay?
Okay.
So on that premise, don't you think we would know if, like, that was a thing, right? If there was an
testing is done correctly.
What?
Assuming the safety testing all gets done correctly, but yeah.
But it's not even the safety testing. It other than the bullshit autism from vaccines, which we know is false. It was a false.
I'm fully aware that was false bullshit. Andrew got what he had coming to him.
But other than that, there's never been a vaccine that was proven safe that 10 years down the road there were issues. And I had people bring up things like thalidomide. We knew in months that there was issues with thalidomide causing birth defects.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry, that's an entirely different topic.
Yes.
So, and Caroline, I'll get there. But if you just look at the empirical data of all vaccinations, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's never been a single vaccine that we thought was safe for 2 years that then showed up as problematic 5 years later. Okay?
Yep. I was watching adverse effects pop up too, and I'm like, yeah. Anyway,
but right, okay. So we have that part out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know what it's going to do in 10 years. Okay, that's cool, but it's not. There's been nothing. Nothing at all. There are plenty of vaccines, anthrax, classified military vaccines, all of that. None of which had zero issues initially and then showed up with issues out of the blue. And any ones there were issues, we knew at the beginning, right, that this vaccine can have issues. For example, Mini and Micro. Mini was given Prevnar 13 and then stopped breathing about 4 hours later. And then I sternal rubbed Mini and they started breathing and they were fine. Mm-hmm. Right? Turns out you can't give Prevnar 13 to premature babies born before 36 weeks.
Okay.
But they had just updated Prevnar 13 to have the 5th component.
Okay.
Right?
Whatever that was, I don't have that level of education.
It's just like part of the childhood series. They were trying to add a 5th vaccine in to minimize the number of overall shots. The problem is if you give it to a preemie that's earlier than 36 weeks, it causes something called periodic breathing, where their breathing gets faster, 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 and as it gets faster, it gets shallower and shallower and shallower, and then they stop breathing, and then they gasp and take a deep breath, and their breathing is back to normal. And then the rate speeds up, the depth decreases, and it repeats.
Yep.
It has to do with the immature nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mayor, but we knew within 8 months thalidomide was toxic to pregnant women. So, there's that. The mRNA aspect, right, that you're not comfortable with.
Here.
Here's the thing. We had done 10 years of testing on it. And this is where I had this argument with people. And I'm like, come at me. This is literally what I went to school for. The mRNA vaccines were originally done for Ebola.
Okay.
Thalidomide was a diet drug that was used. It was a diet pill. It was used during pregnancy for nausea. It caused horrific birth defects. But it was a drug taken for a vanity purpose, not for pregnancy. So that. But yeah, DES, it's a drug. It's not a vaccine. They had been studying mRNA vaccines in Europe and in the US for years because we knew about Ebola, the hantavirus, which you see in the Southwest, quite a few of those which don't do well in a traditional vaccine format. Your body can't seroconvert because of how it does it. So what people don't understand is we already had mRNA vaccines that had gone through traditional testing that we knew were safe. They had gone through normal testing. You know, the years of it. So what they were able to do was rapidly sequence COVID for the spike protein. And the COVID vaccine actually has zero COVID in it at all. The only thing, and that's why it's not as effective in people like me. The only thing you see in the mRNA COVID vaccine is the spike protein. Because nothing else uses, like no other virus we know of had that protein. So they took these Ebola vaccines that were mRNA based and, Marburg based and all of that. And they used that technology to code for the spike protein. There's no actual COVID in it. So you can't get it from the vaccine. That's why you get sick. That's why you feel like shit. Because your lungs are like, danger, Will Robinson. What is this spike protein bullshit? There's nothing attached to it. They trained your lungs to overreact to the spike protein. So that the next time your body saw the spike protein, when it actually had COVID attached, it would go after the spike protein. Make more sense?
Makes sense to me.
That's why.
Of course, I did the silly thing and just contracted it.
I've had it 4 times.
Yeah, I contracted it for once, and the second time it turned up, it went around the neighborhood, I kind of felt crappy for a day or two, and then it was over.
Right, and you can have minor symptoms from variants, but the severe variants you won't generally get unless you're, immune suppressed, immune compromised. Yay, Sandy, for that negative. Just do me a favor, stay away from orange Fanta.
Why is that?
If you drop orange Fanta on an at-home COVID test, you'll test positive.
I don't. How would that even work?
Yeah. Orange Fanta gives you a false positive for the rapid test.
Oh, damn. That I did not know that. No, I appreciate. I appreciate.
Hey, Thomas.
Thomas, hey man, how's it going?
But yeah, I did it as an experiment. It does work with most COVID home tests. Orange Fanta gives you a false positive. It interferes with the test.
Okay. Duly noted.
Not that the public health person told you that. Not that the public health person told you how to manipulate a test for, an extra day off or 2. Now, granted, when you run the, real test for it,
that makes no difference.
Yeah.
Be picked up and ignored.
Yeah, it's not a thing, but on, the rapids, it does not. Which I think is funny. Thomas Sunkist will do it too. For some reason, one of the chemical additives in any orange soda will make it test positive. Yeah. But so that's how that vaccine works. It's not changing your RNA or mRNA. It is just coding it to read for a benign part of the virus that actually cannot make you sick.
But it'll prevent, but that spike coding for that spike protein will prevent it from attaching to things.
Well, because it'll recognize the spike protein, so then it doesn't let real COVID in. If that makes sense. You code it for the benign part, and then it doesn't matter. Because what? At that point. Okay.
Thomas
yay for you. What?
Thomas is in fine form today.
I know. Thomas, have you been working on my shirt I asked you to do? Creed, so the way COVID works is there's a spike protein. The spike protein attaches to certain cells in your lungs, which ironically, there's only 2 places in the body in males that you will find a receptor. The testicles and the lungs. Women, you only find that receptor in the lungs. But they coded it just for that protein. So if it sees the spike protein, regardless of what's attached to it, it goes after that. And it's a way to inoculate somebody without exposing them to it. Okay, Thomas, because I need good idea fairy stuff too.
I think I might have some. I'll have some suggestions for comments here in a little bit.
Caroline, what about Lyme? But yeah, so that's how the COVID vaccine works. And that's actually why the mRNA versions are safer. Because the other version uses an attenuated, aka a dead actual COVID virus. Or a seriously weakened virus to help you build the antibodies. So it's actually safer to do the mRNA version. Because there's no virus in it. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk on how vaccines work.
I heard we had some fraud. I heard we had some frauditors. We want to take down.
Yeah, we're gonna get there. Don't worry.
I may actually do a couple of those just to see what happens.
You're not allowed to do them without me.
Okay, you can come on my channel. You can come on my channel at some point. We'll do some of those.
I will, but right now it is my world.
Okay, you're welcome to it.
No stealing my content right now.
I'm not stealing your content.
Creed, I will get there. What is the question about Lyme? So here is the Loki apology. If you sent anything to my P.O. box and it has been returned to you, that is being fixed tomorrow. It has been brought to my attention several packages were returned. And it said that the P.O. box was closed on April 11th, so several weeks after my father passed away. I still have the keys. It was not closed. I'm not sure what's going on. I have to go talk to them. And if your package is returned, you have my deepest apologies. I just was not in a headspace to sit here and open a ton of packages right after my dad died. And I have 2 of those nifty white crates from the post office full of stuff. So when they gave those to me, I assumed all packages were in there. So if for some reason the package fell out, before they put it in, or whatever, you have my sincerest and deepest apologies. It was not intentional. I did not close the P.O. box. Nothing. The email I got today from a Lair member who was upset was the first indication I had it all. So there's my apology. You know, well, and I don't have an issue with it. All I will say about the COVID virus vaccine is I will ask you all to think about the Loki when you make your decision. I cannot tell you what the right or wrong decision for you is. I believe in body autonomy. I will tell you, I have been vaccinated with all 3 and had 2 of every booster. No. And I have had COVID 4 times. I do not make antibodies because of my immunosuppression. I am 100% dependent on herd immunity. So, I will not preach to anybody. You decide what's right for you. You decide risk factors and things in your life. I just ask that in the back of people's minds, they remember there are people like me that are dependent on herd immunity. I cannot get live vaccines. COVID isn't live. But you know, varicella, the chickenpox one, is. I couldn't be around my kids for 2 days.
Oof.
After they got it. So again, I'm not gonna preach. It's your body, you do what's right for you. I just ask that people keep in mind there are some people like me that are completely dependent on herd immunity. And until we are at 97%, there is no herd immunity. And you guys saw how deathly ill I was for a month with COVID. Yeah, Sandy, it's the same thing. So, no, Creed, you're there. But yeah, that's all I've ever asked. And if you are going to meet me, see me in person, I have a meet and greet. Please just make sure you were not exposed recently. Do not have a fever, wash your hands, all that stuff. Sandy, I've had it too. The last time they drew my titers, I am not even immune to MMR anymore.
Ouch.
I have lost all of my antibodies because of my issues and my chemo. So, that is all I request. You make what decision is right for you. And I don't think the government should mandate it. Do I appreciate those in my life that I see daily? Yes, that have gotten it. For the first 3 years of Micro's life, nobody that was unvaccinated could be around her because she was so preemie. And you know, everybody had to be vaccinated because she was almost 11 weeks early. But, I don't preach about it. I tell people all the time, if you have questions about vaccines, if you have questions about viruses like Lyme, if you need explanations, reach out. I'm here. And I think I do a better job explaining it than people like Fauci, who talk above everybody. I'm pretty good about bringing things down to a manageable and understandable level.
Which is
That is
because I started having problems with Birx and Fauci almost immediately. We can't understand what the hell he got to say, and we've seen some other grifts out of both of them. So
right, and I am always willing to engage in debate as long as it's respectful with anybody on any side. My goal in public health and safety and virology and OSHA is I tell everybody I want to return you in better than or the same condition I received you in. I don't call wives, girlfriends, or baby mamas from ERs. So, Sandy, I'm offended. I'm not Bill Nye.
no,
but
and even Bill Nye was not doing very well with the explaining of that.
I would like to think my
experience, not an actual scientist.
I would like to think my experience explaining firearms did me well.
Yeah, Mayor Ranch, Mayor McNown.
You know what I mean? I like to think the fact that I teach OSHA and firearms and all of that stuff to a very diverse group has made me better at, I don't want to say dumbing it down because I never dumb things because that's insulting in my opinion. But I have the one and only time you will see me with a super high level of patience is explaining medicine and science. Because I think there is a place for respectful discussion, and I think a lot of the fear around COVID and viruses is because people were lied to and people are not properly explained why that virus. But here's the thing. Everyone's like, well, how did you make a virus antigen that detects it 2 years before you knew about it? Well, that's because it shared enough of its DNA with the flu variant from that year. That's literally it. Well, there was no mRNA vaccine. You rushed it through. No, they just bastardized the Ebola vaccine. We've been studying it behind closed doors for a long, long time.
Loki is a tactical version of Dora.
I try to be. Swiper, no swiping. I was a TA in college. I taught calculus and differential equations.
Ooh.
I got pretty good at it. And obviously biology, virology. I've taught at community colleges. But I'm a paramedic educator, I'm a fire instructor. and I get such a wide variety of students that it's something I've had to learn how to explain without being condescending, where I try very hard. And not to bring him up, but think about when Kurt explains things, how condescending he can come across as when talking or explaining law.
Oh, jeez.
You know what I mean? He comes across, and then you don't understand it any better.
Know this. Why don't you already? That's the attitude. That's what I get from Kurt when he's talking law.
Yeah, why don't you all know this?
Why don't you already know this?
Comes from the man who barely got into a tier 3 law school.
Oof. Barely got into? Uh-oh.
Barely got into the University of Akron, Ohio.
Oof. Boy, that's not good.
Yeah. But, hey, whatever, I don't really care. But, you know, I teach kids about gun safety. I teach kids about school shootings. I go around, I teach about the Holocaust now that 99% of my grandmother's generation have passed away. Because without explanations, and if you sugarcoat things, we will repeat them. So that's always been one of my things. Of, you know, working on explaining. Cool. E. Caroline, I'll have to look into that. I need that. But yeah. So there's really nothing to worry about. It's not changing your mRNA. The only thing it's doing is teaching your body to look for the spike protein. Nothing else. Hopefully that helps, Croc.
Yeah, no, it's not. I didn't figure it was making changes to RNA, but there was a lot of other things going around about it during the process that made me want to run and hide on top of everybody pushing.
Well,
and it's never going to work well for me.
Has that assuaged your concerns?
Yes, some, but at this
point,
what
are your other concerns? Ask.
No, I'm good with that one. I don't have any reason to be concerned about it now. The kids and the wife were all vaccinated. I just caught the damn thing.
Yeah, I mean, I am always like, I'm primarily a gun channel. I have some really funny 2A content stuff coming up. But I like to educate people about guns, the law, their health, and things that seem unattainable to many.
See, I'm not as up on gun law as probably I should be.
We can go through gun laws one day. I don't care.
Well, we have to go through them for each individual state, though. That's going to
We can. Pick a state, we'll start, and we'll do it.
That would actually sound like a fun series as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, we'll do it. I'll get on it.
And it would be something helpful.
I'll get on it. But hopefully that assuages everybody's COVID vaccine question. If you have any other questions about vaccination or disease, please send me a message, leave it in a comment, take your pick, and I will answer. But I am going to cut this because I'm going to lose my voice. Tomorrow, we're going to stream a bunch of fun stuff, but I want Pride Wrangler to be able to join me for a few other things. So.
And maybe we'll even get some quiplation.
We will. We will get Quiplash, and I promise. We can, and Big Wheel and all that stuff. It's just been a long few days for me.
Oh, I know. Believe me, there's one thing I know. It's just how long the last few days have been. Ugh, and it's probably we're hoping that gets better.
Yeah. And on top of it, I have to wait on hold with YouTube to get some asshole's channel back because he wouldn't fucking listen to me about getting his email back and whined at me for fucking 3 weeks. Even though I did what I said I was going to do and got him his goddamn channel back.
Hey.
Yes? What?
Pretty sure I know who that asshole is.
I'm waiting to hear that I'm wrong.
What? Nobody said you were.
Told you so.
Nope, I was doing. I did the things, and it wasn't working.
As did I, and you have your fucking email back.
Huh?
As did I, and I got you your goddamn email back.
It works, yes. Bugging them works. I don't know why.
I told you I out-stubborned a concentration camp. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, and that's the other thing, guys. If you are interested, please reach out to Croc, Patty, or myself and let us know when you would be interested, time and date-wise, about getting to see the Holocaust thing.
Because I've already set up a room for it.
Well, it's going to be invite only, no recording.
Okay. But yeah, guys, get a hold of me. I shouldn't be too hard to find.
So, okay. I will catch you all later. I love you all. See you tomorrow.
Okay. See you tomorrow. What
Bye,
time?
guys. Pop one up for 9:30.
9:30? Okay. We can do
Thanks.
that.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.